Yeah, now this counts as part 17.
Part 17?
Because of all of the tiny little in-between videos that we had running. This indeed counts as part 17.
Huh. Well,
Even though,
we're here.
well, in reality, I mean, this is like 7 or something like that. If we were to really, like, you know, actually base it off of normal
I
length
mean,
streams.
what is time if not an illusion?
Yeah, I mean, it is. I mean, scientifically, like,
Exactly.
so you're not wrong. Let's say I think yeah, we clicked through this before when yeah, okay, there we go. This is where we had actually left off. We were trying so hard to get it to work, but it just did not want to. Come here. There we go. Alright, let's just post that we are streaming, and then we are good to go. And there we are. Okay. I look anxious to talk. See the Barrel King's eyes scan the fields. I don't know what's going on here as much as you, but we'd better find a way to defend our gear and supplies. These other clans could form a mob if they discover we have food. Yeah, I mean that's a good concern. Hmm. I believe I had chosen that one last time. I believe actually I went through this. Yeah, but I believe we did click through this before. So yeah, she's working. Those people, I saw you wrong for bringing the Varl and Horseboard and feel their accusing stares. But of course they're mad. Of course they're mad. They're mad about something. These battle lines are all about. Clans are here. Oh wait, no, yeah, we clicked through a bit of this before we stopped last time, and it did not save. So okay, I suppose it's not bad to recap a little bit, but hello, kitty cat. Cats on the stream. Now, Tim, have you been playing anything? Anything new? Anything you've gotten into in the last week or two since, well, the internet's been all fucked up? And any show you've been
Let's see.
watching doesn't have to be a video game. Just anything you've gotten into.
Well, for that, I'm blanking on names right now, but I'm gonna grab it right now. Heckin'. Oh, I finished Vinland Saga.
Oh,
That
okay.
was phenomenal.
I really thought you were just saying Tekken for a second there. Heckin' Tekken. Never been my franchise, but you know.
I mean, I'm sure it's good to
Well,
some
the
people.
third one on the PlayStation 1, I remember having a lot of fun with, but I haven't played it since the PlayStation 1, so. No,
And then I also finished the first season of Alice in Borderland,
okay.
which is based off of a manga that came out in like 2010 and ran through March 2015. So it's based off of like three friends. They go and like they're skipping out on work. They go into a bathroom and they come out and everyone is gone. And then they quickly find out that they're part of like this game and nobody can leave and you need to play more and more games to be able to stay alive. Like you're
Okay.
granted days as a reward for winning.
Interesting. Okay.
And losing is just dying.
Shoot, like it's like Saw.
Yeah, it's essentially like all of Japan is either vacated or it's people stuck in the Saw game.
Damn. All right. I mean, that's pretty hardcore. I'm into it. I'm not.
Especially
I've
because
heard the
it's like
name, but never actually seen it myself.
I definitely gave it like a long shot because like my younger brother has read the manga and recommended the anime, or not. It's not even it's live action.
Oh, okay.
But
Okay. Okay.
and so I think that it's a very solid live action adaptation of a manga.
Okay. Sweet. Yeah, I don't feel like I've seen a lot of those. I haven't watched it, but I know there is a live action movie of Uzumaki, that horror, the one that's being done in an anime in the sometime in the near future, whenever that ends up coming out. But that got a live action movie, and I feel like that one's probably not great, just based on the
Yeah,
small bits I've seen. I
I'm
could be
not
wrong,
sure
but
how it would be.
well, because have you read Uzumaki? Have you read any of that book?
I read the first volume.
Okay, but so you have enough of an idea, but that just seems like it would be very difficult to translate.
It's so inherently surrealist.
Yeah, I mean, not that you can't have surrealist stuff in live action. It's just that, like, I don't know, the specific imagery of it just feels like this the first big death in there is the guy that's like turned into a spiral in the it's under the water hatch. They pull him up and he's like twisted inside it. I just don't know if that could be live action without looking silly. You know, I don't know. It just doesn't seem like it would work very well. Easy feed herd. I like that they like have stops in their language. That's funny to me. I like it. Of course they would.
It only makes sense.
We will think Big Hurt is right. I was watching it again with Ulysses, but Tim? Have you seen any of the rehearsal on HBO?
Uh, I don't believe. I no, I haven't.
Okay. Do you know who Nathan Fielder is? And have you ever seen Nathan for You, which was his older show?
I have seen all of Nathan for You.
Oh, so the rehearsal is Nathan Fielder's new show that came out a little while ago. It's 6 episodes, and he like the basic idea. Do you remember the theater production episode where like
Yeah.
yeah, right, where they like recreate this like entire like real experience that happened? Well, the rehearsal, it takes that idea and kind of runs with it. You've got like people that have some stressful thing in their lives they don't know how to deal with, their conversation they don't know how to have, and he like literally recreates like entire replicas of building, like all these like replicas, and hires all these actors to play all these people that they actually know, to then rehearse a moment like hundreds and hundreds of times before they actually experience the real version of it. And and that's just the where it starts, and it gets way weirder.
That makes me just think just the littlest bit of Synecdoche.
Oh yeah. No, it gets real Synecdoche, New York up in that show. It gets very Synecdoche, New York. Like it gets to a point where, I mean, now speaking of surreal live action things, that takes the cake. Let's see here. I think that's fine for right now. Oh, funny how they move around if you don't click on them. Interesting. Skull dyed strip cloth and his daughter's hair. Yeah, no, there's 6 episodes, Tim. I highly recommend you watch that, especially if you already like Nathan for You. because and it's less like it is funny. There is still comedy, of course, but it like especially as it gets to the end, it is the rehearsal is honestly poignant in like a genuinely dramatic way. Like there's comedy in the show, but it is it's just it's so much stranger than that. Say with luck, I might change their minds. Either you don't stop the wind. I feel like I haven't spent a lot of time on this character, getting to know this specific character, really, but he keeps coming up in like the story-driven sequences. I'll have to pay more attention to him on another playthrough.
Yeah, he's one of the more characters that it's easy to kind of like he gets more spotlight from what I've seen on a Let's playthrough.
Okay. If he, I suppose that we'll see if he survives, right?
Yeah.
Well, and then, well, Tim, I know you should be excited about this one, but after 8 years, we are finally getting Bayonetta 3 next month. We're like about a month away at this point, like just under or just over a month away.
I am excited for that.
Have you seen much of the any of the footage that they've showed for it?
I haven't.
It's
I've like heard rumors of it like being a thing that's happening, but
sure. It's the villain in this is they're instead of angels or demons, they're man created homunculi is like the new enemy thing.
oh,
But
cool.
what's really cool about this game is that they've worked the like demon summoning mechanic even more so into like the minute to minute combat instead of just being like a special move. So a lot of the time you actually can then summon the monster and then just play as the big demon wiping out crowds of enemies in the arena itself instead of it just being like a more like quick time event type thing.
Okay.
It looks pretty sick. It looks pretty sick. I do wonder what it would look like if it had like if it could truly have like the next gen systems like powering it. I do wonder, but it still looks awesome, even being held back a little bit by just virtue of being on the Switch. But it still looks awesome.
Well, we'll have to see it when it comes out to see its full glory.
Yeah, well, it'll be one we won't be able to stream since it'll be only on the Switch. But until someday when we have a capture card and all that stuff.
One day in the
I like
future.
that. Killing kings requires a lot of people. Don't get a giant nail, stand on top of it, and be your own king. Trigby is weird, man. Is he German?
Well,
Talking about dung piles. Oh, okay. All right, all right, all right. Meeting tent. It's highlighted purple. Nothing has ever been highlighted purple before. So I assume this means it's like end
it's
game, basically.
essential.
Head towards the large tent. Audley stops you. You're certain you're ready for what could happen out there. Her worried look is infectious. King may be a decent man, but I doubt he's kept his throne by following the rules. You're right. I should. No, I mean, I talk to everybody. Confidence your voice. Just be careful. I'll be back here with the rest of the clan if you need me. You smile and make your way past the line of clansmen, marking the boundary of the peaceful bit. I thought that said peaceful BLT for a second there. Voices coming from under the tent are loud, animated. Oh God, what's going on now? Who's under your wall? Oh hey, yeah, your son sucked. Fell in battle, a braver death than I don't care about bravery. I care about my son. Oh well, he was a dick, man. He was being a dick. When the depths of this, well, that's King Minoff. Why shouldn't I have you and all your fallen clansmen killed right now? I realize you're upset about. Yeah, no, I'm sorry, man. I didn't like your kid. I did not like your kid very much. Yeah, see, you can bond over that.
Yeah.
Apologies, won't bring him back. I loved that boy, damn it. Maybe you loved him too much. Maybe that's why he got too much love. Maybe that's why he was a dick. Not that that's usually not how that
His
works.
dad
But,
was kind of an asshole to him.
I believe that. I believe that. Well, and now he's suffering the consequence. So
Yeah.
Fury's directed. Yeah, he's really mad at Hakan. Well, yeah, I suppose that we were playing as Hakan when that happened, weren't we? Lord of the Human Kingdom. My son's safety was entrusted to you, and now he's gone. I'm not ashamed. I'm not ashamed at all. I wanted that to happen. It's funny because we were playing me and Nadi were playing this, right? We're still about halfway through the first one. We haven't played it again after that first time we sat down. But just in like immediately when you find Ivan and Juno, she got looted and killed like right there, right at the
That's
beginning.
phenomenal.
Which I mean, shit, I got him killed a little like further in, but still got him
You
killed
got him
way
killed
before
in the
the end.
second game.
True, in the second game, but still, this fucker is still dead. Hey, afternoon tune. Thank you so much for the biddies. Thank you. Very kind of you. I hope you're doing well. I think no, we got Tim in here as well.
Oh yeah, I'm invisible.
Yeah, normally Tim is normally in the audio chat, not usually here in person. Although I keep saying when we do
mystique.
well, that's true. But I do keep saying when we do a togi is one that I do want to have you here in person because I do want you to actually have your hands on the controller for that stream.
Absolutely.
Because it's the
I think that would be pretty darn too.
I want you to get to play the true like kind of like seeds of the Souls franchise, like the real original kind of groundwork that eventually would be iterated upon.
See, that just sounds cool.
They're good. I mean, that second one at least, man. Otoki 2 is a great game, and it's still sad to me how obscure the Otoki games are because like I said, I've never brought them up to anyone and had anyone ever say, "Oh yeah, I've played those." Never, not one time. No one ever, like maybe people have heard of them, but they've never played them. Okay. United many clans on my journey here. I don't know, man. I thought it was good, but many of you seem to understand our brain can only hold so many. It can only feed so many. Open the gates to everyone out here. The capital would tear itself apart from the inside. Only now do you see Rugga, Dagger, and 2 dozen fighters approaching. The King Guard looks concerned. Oh, I only got to say one of those things? All right. No, hope you're doing well, Afternoon Tune. We're hopefully going to be able to finish this without internet issues tonight. Fingers crossed. The cyberpunk anime. I hadn't really cared to be honest. I hadn't heard anyone say anything about it. Did you watch it? Did you think it was good? Tim, have you heard of this? Do you know?
My younger brother and another one of my friends swear that it's terrific and it's far better than any story given by the game.
Okay.
So
Afternoon
I would
Tune
say
says
that
it
it's
was
best
just okay.
detached from it.
Interesting. Well, I mean, hey, fair enough. Like, you know, I would like to think something came out of that franchise that people could get into. Animation's cool. Okay. Yeah, I just so don't care about just that game that I hadn't really given it a lot of thought. But maybe at some point I'll check it out. Currently, I'm still watching through Venture Brothers for the first time. I'm almost done with season 2.
It's a hell of a game. I mean, show.
Yeah. The genre of cyberpunk is overdone. I don't think it's overdone. Actually, I don't think cyberpunk is
I think it's
overdone.
under well done.
Yes, there you go. That Tim, yeah, Tim put it very well. It's under well done. I think cyberpunk, like from before cyberpunk even came out, um, from kind of during the marketing for it, my thing the whole time was it seems so generic, you know? Like imagine if Red Dead Redemption was called Western 1880, right? Like Red Dead Redemption and the story that goes with that is a unique identity, but just calling it Cyberpunk 27, or what if you released a game that was just called Fantasy 1560? It's like, doesn't that just seem generic? Like you're so focused on trying to capture the feeling of a genre that you're not really carving out a unique identity among that genre. Like take, you know, Blade Runner, Akira, or Batman Beyond. All three of those things are cyberpunk, but they are all incredibly distinct from each other, right? They all have a very unique identity. So to me, the issue with that game was always that, well, like just being cyberpunk, that isn't interesting in and of itself, you know? Like just the genre alone doesn't really mean anything unless there is a unique individual identity to it, you know? Oh, I hope you died in Beauregard. This governor, man. I'm glad at least the King. We can bond over not liking this guy. Come on, King. I also don't like this guy. See, yeah, actually, I believe Blade Runner did have an anime series, or maybe that hasn't come out yet, or it either came out like within the last few years, or it is coming out soon. I never saw that though. But yeah. So yeah, to answer your question, yeah. Tim, I think Tim put it best. It is under well done, but I don't think it's overdone, like in general. Well, here's the outnumbered king believing he still has a say in what happens now. Oh, dude, come on, Governor, don't. You're inciting conflict, man. To pair them once we're inside. Point out the approaching darkness. Which cyberpunk world would I want to live in? Oh God, I feel like cyberpunk is like, I feel like the worst like kind of fictional world to live in because all of them are dystopia. Like they're literally all cyberpunk stories are dystopian settings. It's Blade Runner, Akira, Ghost in the Shell. Fuck, man. I mean, those are all really depressing places to live. Akira, definitely not Akira because it's dystopian and there are like eldritch horrors. So definitely not that. So between Blade Runner and Ghost in the Shell, God, I don't know. Maybe Ghost in the Shell. Like at least you get some. I don't know because both of those stories are you know kind of revolve around the concept of you not even being able to tell like your own identity and who you is. I don't know, man. That's a hard one. That's a really hard one. Tim, do you have an answer to that?
I don't know, man. I think I'd have to go with Akira. Just because, you know. Actually, that's a good question.
No, I do have to ask, Tim, did you know that there are heated debates among Japanese fans over whether the original English with subtitles or the Japanese dub of King of the Hill is a superior way to watch that show? Like heated debates among a Japanese fan base.
That is phenomenal.
It's a really funny idea, right?
That is tremendously amazing. That is the true. Actually, no, that's because there's a lot of shows where I don't know. I feel King of the Hill is just super ridiculous.
Oh, it is. But it's got a big Japanese fan base, though. Yeah, he's not happy. out here for so few inside. Yeah, I'm taking my side, my people's side, honestly, with this one. Because if I mean, yeah, yeah. I'm sorry. If your son was alive, maybe we could have come to a better, more peace. I can see how, yeah, that's a much. This scenario is like impossible to resolve peacefully with. Oh, meet King. Yep, there we go. So that's the end of that. Why do people think Vikings are a race and not a profession? That's a good question. I mean, so it was just so overwhelmingly the thing that people know about like Danes and shit. I guess that it just. I mean, yeah, you know, I think the main thing to keep in mind is that the average person knows very little about history, especially in this country. So, I mean, that's not a surprising thing, honestly, to me, to really think about. I just people don't know shit. People don't know anything. The American education system is completely fucked, and people don't know. Let alone history specifically, let alone like world history. People do not know, even in this country. People don't even know this country's history. You know that there is you know, obviously polls are only so applicable, right? They're still only applicable to a relatively small group, but like you can credit actual polls that like 20% of people that answered them don't even know that there are three branches of government, let alone could name what they are. It's like, yeah. There's
Riga blows a single blast into a war horn.
yeah, it's not good, man. This is about to get violent, I think. Ooh, yeah, he goes right for him. Yeah. See, but even Hakan is like, yeah, it's the only way to deal with this right now. Yeah, so that son really would have been helpful, huh? Be a Viking, a
Yeah,
pirate,
without
or
the
a Spartan,
sun, there is no peaceful way to get all of your party in there.
right? Um, Viking, pirate, or Spartan depends on which era. To be fair, too, because if you go with the like kind of late era of pirates, they were literally just like contractors that were like just kind of picking up like paperwork from the British government and then doing like shipping jobs. So I'd probably if I get to pick that specific period of time, I'm gonna say pirates. I don't know, Tim. What about you? I would say Spartan would be the one I'd least be interested in.
Spartan, if I was a Spartan, I would have been the babies thrown off the cliff. That's where my life would have ended. I was prone to fevers
Yeah,
as a baby.
I would have been too. The I had ear infections, so you and me both, just getting tossed off the cliff.
He's like, he's got a fever, his ear hurts. Fucking kill him.
That's exactly what would happen.
If anything, I'd probably be a. Ooh. Pirates had to deal with like their teeth and hair falling out from scurvy.
Yeah, yes, but at the same time, the ones that were the contractors, like a little later at the end of the age of piracy, they weren't. They were less prone to those health issues comparatively.
So I guess I would be one of those latter-day pirates.
Let's see. Would you want to see another Pirates movie with Johnny Depp? Hell fucking no. I think after that first one, I think I think those are all terrible movies. I think only that first one is good. I do not, yeah, I do not like, here's the thing. I hate Johnny Depp movies, past like 2008. When did Sweeney Todd come out?
I think 2008. Yeah.
That's that's the last thing that I liked that Johnny Depp was in. I really think that was I genuinely don't think I've liked a single thing he's done since then as an actor. He annoys the shit out of me. He just became obsessed with wearing fake nose and wearing like stupid outfits and doing a ridiculous voice. Like it's like he would only do a movie if he could look like an asshole in it. Black Mass. Okay, you know what? I'll give you. I never saw Black Mass. I will give you that one though because that did seem to be like him actually doing something that wasn't, you know, the breakdancing Mad Hatter. That did seem like it was him doing something different. But I still say that was a rare one-off for him because most of the time he was just being ridiculous in movies. Oh yeah, and also I would pick being a Spartan. I don't want to miss out on all that gay sex. The Spartans were pretty gay. Spartans were pretty gay. Clerks 3, guys. Kevin Smith hasn't. I honestly, he hasn't made a movie that I've liked in a long time either. I don't know. I don't know if I care about another Clerks movie, to be honest. Tim, what about you?
Man, I couldn't care enough about the second one. I don't know how they're gonna do a third one.
Yeah, I don't know. It just doesn't seem like.
It just does not seem like one of those series where I'm just like, oh man, I can't wait till they come out with yet another one of them.
Yeah, I don't know. I mean, who knows? It could surprise me, but yeah, I'm not real confident in the idea. Yeah, these guys are pretty tough. Hello, kitty. Hi. Hello, cat.
I will say,
of course, right now is the time that you want attention.
Well, that's what cats do.
It's as soon as you're busy, as soon as you're doing something, that's when they want. That's when they want to say hi. Hi. What's up? No, I think 300. I think the movie 300. I don't like the comic book 300. I think it is total like whitewashing revisionist trash. Honestly, yeah, I do not like 300.
Yeah, I would have to say that as a 12-year-old, I thought it was good, but as somebody that's actually seen more movies that are actually good, I've realized that, Christ, there was a lot to unpack with that movie, and very little of it was good.
Yeah, I mean, like, I won't lie. I do hate Zack Snyder. Like, I cannot I mean, like, and as a human being, you know, whatever, I don't have any strong feelings one way or the other. But when it comes to the things that he makes, I do not like Zack Snyder as a creator. I do not like anything he makes.
We do not like Zack Snyder.
I would not like him on a train. I would not like him on a plane.
Oh, in terms of games that I beat, I know I had talked about shows. Dead Cells, I beat. And similar to Hades, it has a different ending if you beat it, I think, 5 times. And
David O. Russell. I have heard the same about David O. Russell. I have heard the same that he sucks.
Like
that he's
Russell
just kind
Crowe.
of a douche. Fighting round the world.
Oi, it's my mate, Saga.
Oi, I'm Russell Crowe. We're gonna pick a fight. No, David O. Russell's a director. He did what was that? American Hustle. Oh God, what am I? He's done a few things. He did was that movie where Christian Bale and Mark Wahlberg played brothers, and Christian Bale was the crackhead and Mark Wahlberg was like the boxer or whatever. I forget what that's called, but David, he's done a few movies you probably would recognize if you saw the posters. I bet. The Fighter. God, that is a generic title. No wonder I couldn't remember it. First past him, Frey waves the banner and clanks around you to the gates.
To the gates.
To the gates. He's well trained and immediate. Yeah. Well, Tim, I know I texted you kind of through text. I already talked to you about this, but fuck, I really think the Rings of Power has gotten worse with every episode. I was straight up falling asleep during the fifth one earlier today. I was like, oh my god, I'm I'm seriously having a hard time even staying awake. See, Christian Bale was wasted in Love and Thunder. I 100% agree. I thought Love and Thunder sucked. And Christian Bale was absolutely wasted in it.
But yeah, I would say Dead Cells is like a 2D Hades.
I remember hearing about Dead Cells a little while ago, or kind of years ago now, and that was kind of the first big roguelike game, or roguelite, whichever way you want to say, I guess, that I remember hearing about in general, where I was like, oh, what's this new genre? Dead Cells is like the first one I'm hearing about.
Yeah, it's either available on like the second tier of PlayStation subscription and like the catalog, or as one of the like games of the month. I forget which. But yeah, it's like you beat through it the first time,
expansions
and
too,
they do explain the like actual story behind why you're resurrecting and stuff, which is I think a nice mechanic in any roguelite.
Yeah, I do. I like that. There's a like a real like mythology of why. I do love when stuff like that is done.
Not to mention the ending was a tremendous twist that I was not expecting. So it was actually kind of cool to actually be rewarded. It's like Hades has that twist after the first ending where you're like, oh shit.
Oh, okay, yeah. Interesting. Yeah, it's been on my list to check out at some point for a while.
I've also been getting into Tribes of Midgard.
Oh yeah, I remember hearing about that.
I really did enjoy it. I haven't completely beaten it, but it's multiplayer, so I think I'll just save that as something that like I eventually play with someone, because as a single player game, it does have its merits, but it feels like something that would be a lot both easier and more worthwhile playing in a multiplayer setting.
Totally. Maybe a co-host takeover at some point, or perhaps even rapid respawn even.
There we go.
Have you seen Andor? No, I'm honestly I'm so burnt out on Star Wars that I don't even think I'm gonna watch any more Star Wars stuff for a long time, if ever. I don't know about you, Tim. What's the last Star Wars thing you watched? The best Disney Star Wars? Rogue One. I think it's the best Disney era Star Wars thing.
I saw the first. I saw the 6 movies. I saw Rogue One and 7, and some of the cartoons, but that's about it.
Yeah, I'm really exhausted by Star Wars. Like I just don't feel like I don't know how to care about it anymore. Like I just don't even.
Yeah, I mean, they're not really giving you a lot to work with. And it looks like they're trying to give us more new stuff with Andor, but it's like,
With the movies. Didn't like Boba Fett. Oh, I hated Boba Fett. I genuinely haven't really liked anything Star Wars has done since Well, in terms of live action Star Wars, I haven't liked anything since Return of the Jedi. Like that is straight up the last thing that I liked. Now, if we're talking, all Star Wars media, I think Knights of the Old Republic, the video game, is superior to all of the movies. But
your love of KOTOR is known to anyone established with the canon of rated M.
I definitely think so. I definitely say that like is far better than even the best movie. The Last Jedi is the third best Star Wars for you. I mean, what I'll say about The Last Jedi is that as I didn't particularly like it, but I out of the three of the newer movies, I respected The Last Jedi the most because I thought at least it did try to do different stuff, and I respected that. I didn't necessarily think it was that good, but I will say I thought it was at least taking risks and trying things, and I think that's better than you could say for, I mean, pretty much any of the any of the other projects, really. So, the Clone Wars. I thought the Clone Wars was okay. My thing with the Clone Wars cartoon is that I think it had good parts to it, but I think it was also really uneven. So, like, you'd get some really good material in there, but then there'd be 3 episodes of Jar Jar Binks. So, it's not. It definitely wasn't consistent. As far as the animated shows go, I actually did really like Star Wars Rebels, though. I thought that was consistently pretty good. See, I hated Rogue One though, so I don't know about Andor because I thought Rogue One was terrible too. So
could have been good, but I would like because there's an interesting story to tell because it's just a couple lines of dialogue that explains like how the thing got there, but like.
To me,
I feel like it felt a lot of wasted opportunities. Like each scene, you're anticipating, okay, maybe this is where it gets good, and then you're looking at the credits like, huh.
Yeah, that's pretty much how I felt. It's just the problem with these prequels. It's like I wasn't asking for that to be explained to me. Really, you felt like you had to explain it to me, but I didn't really need to hear this specific. I don't know. It's like that's one of the biggest things about prequels that I don't like is when they sit and explain something to you that didn't really feel like it need to, Andor shoots a guy like he's Walter White. I mean, he did that at the beginning. That character Andor did that in Rogue One, but then the rest of that movie, he spent not doing anything bad. So he did this one bad thing at the beginning
just to do his murder fantasy.
And
Is
I mean,
picking up.
It sounds, yeah, that's what it sounds like. But he did something like that in the Rogue One movie, and it was like right at the beginning, and it was like, oh, okay, that's actually kind of hardcore. And then instantly, the next, the rest of the movie, the characters were introduced as, oh, we're kind of maybe morally gray, and then the whole rest of the movie was them doing nothing but good guy things. So I don't know. Maybe, but mostly in the 3 episodes. I mean that you're what you're saying is what I want to hear. I just still don't know. I don't know. I maybe I'll give it a shot. I mean, I have Disney Plus, so it's like, I mean, if it's there, maybe I'll check it out. But I also feel like it might make more sense for me to wait for a long time to watch it anyway, if for no other reason than because I'm so burnt out on Star Wars. that like I may not give it a fair chance right now. Like I genuinely may like think I like just psychologically or subconsciously might not be able to make myself give it a fair chance. Like if I wait longer and then give it a try when I haven't thought about Star Wars in a while, there's probably a better chance of me enjoying it. Yeah, it may make sense to wait. Oh, it's 12 episodes, okay, and it looks great. Yeah, I mean, yeah, because I'm glad that you say it looks good because I feel like the other Star Wars shows have looked kind of cheap at least at times. Like not always. Sometimes they can look good, but like the Mandalorian, which everybody right was so in love with. I really thought the Mandalorian was honestly pretty weak. So I don't know. I don't know. I will give it a chance at some point. It just might not be soon. I'm too busy being frustrated by Rings of Power right now. I can't divide my attention into Star Wars. Well, I'm irritated with that. Rubbing the stump of his missing hand. She could have done more today, but I doubt the king will last much longer inside the walls. Has to worry about what he means, and the city walks away on other business. Closed gates, the stench of death, all of it threatens to turn your stomach and make you sick. I have through all this, but I know. Fought so hard to get here, for what? Made it to Arbor Ring, but not inside. We're no better off out here than in Borisgard. Wasn't supposed to be like this. We were going to save everybody. At least Takan and the Varl are still with us. His eyes look empty as you feel as she slowly glances around. What now? Well, we can't stay out here. As much as I'd like to sleep, we'll have to get behind those walls somehow. And then there's the darkness. Juno said we have to hold out until they finish what they set out to do. How are we supposed to know when they finish? She said to hold on until the darkness breaks. I don't think the darkness is going to break in the second game. I don't think that's going to happen. They're going to stop the darkness themselves.
What makes you think that?
Just, the fact that there's a third game. How can you tell bad criticism of Rings of Power and good criticism? You just got to look at what the argument is, I guess. I mean, pick it apart like you would pick the show. I think certainly there's a lot of bad faith people that are just, it's the same crowd that comes out to complain against everything. But I'm pretty critical of Rings of Power, and I think I could shred that show to pieces without a whole lot of effort. I think it's. Good God! Especially now that it's 5 episodes in and it still doesn't seem to have an actual driving narrative that's pushing the story along. That's just kind of sad. How do you get 5 episodes into an 8-episode season and still not have an actual driving story thread? And I just doesn't. I don't know. Rings of Power reminds me of the Star Wars prequels a lot because it feels like every one of the story arcs happening in the show is just about setting up and explaining something in the Lord of the Rings that you weren't asking questions necessary, like people weren't actually asking questions about. Here's a storyline dedicated to why Gandalf likes hobbits. I didn't need to know that. One storyline is Galadriel's entire storyline just seems to be setting up why there's an alliance of men and elves to fight Sauron. I didn't really need a deeper explanation for that. Or the Dire Dwarf, the Durin and Elrond storyline is just about, this is how Mithril came about, so that so you understand why Mithril exists in the Lord of the Rings. Why are any of these things the things that you're focusing on? So have you ever seen someone review something and went, this person sucks? Yeah, I think you can tell almost immediately when someone is, at least I feel like I can tell when people are just criticizing something when they're coming from a bad faith place and they're going out of their way to attack something for other reasons other than what their genuine criticism is, I think it's
Did
usually
you
pretty
hear
easy to
people
tell.
calling Woman King woke for having all black actors?
Well, that makes no sense because it's set in Africa. That doesn't.
Yeah.
What? That doesn't.
Yeah.
Wait, what?
That
I
confused the
I
shit out of
hadn't
me.
heard anybody say that, but okay. That doesn't. That yeah, that makes no sense. That literally makes no sense. But okay.
Yeah, it's one of those things where you're just like, wait, what?
Is there? I
Like,
haven't seen it. Okay, well, in the afternoon tune says there even are white people in that movie. So,
yes,
what are they
exactly.
even talking? What does that mean?
And then they were like, well, they wanted to like change history and say that and say that this tribe wasn't involved in the slave trade when it was. And it's like, well, you haven't seen the movie like I have, because this is about that tribe finally breaking the chains of slavery
Well, that
and the
also
oppression
didn't
that was
that also
placed in
didn't
them.
happen though. That didn't. The
Exactly.
character Viola Davis is playing is actually a fictional character. She's not playing like a real historical figure, too. Like
Oh,
that's
exactly.
not a
And
that's
that's what
not a
they
real
seem to
person.
think, that there like is a historical parallel that it needs to. And it's like, no, it's not.
What
It's
the fuck is?
not.
Whoa! What? What? What's happening? I mean, it's the same thing that bothers me about 300. Any movie that just it tells a story about a history that is like not staying true to history, that bothers me in any movie. It doesn't really
I
matter
think the
what it
best
is.
thing it does is draw attention to the history of the era that seems to be often overlooked.
Sure.
And when people have commentary on it, my biggest response is look into the history if you're that curious about the parallels to real world history. Because it's first and foremost a movie.
Yeah, but that's why people. That is also the argument that people that really like 300 would make to me, and I would. I don't know. I don't know.
Okay, well, that's
That's why
just
I don't
wrong
like that movie.
because
That's why.
300 has not a good plot. Like, it just doesn't have a good plot.
Well, it's also just straight up revisionist history. Like it's just making things up and lying about how things were.
Well, yeah, and I guess one could make
If you're
that
upfront
like
about the
it was
fact that it's
trying to
not supposed to be
romanticize
literal,
that, like, that tribe was like, I suppose
juicy.
the best way to word it is there are some people that are just taking it as history, and that
Well,
would
that's
make it
yeah.
revisionist because the tribes in that region did continue to, like, partake in the slave trade.
Oh well, they that specific tribe did like straight up like Aztec style like human sacrifices where they'd sacrifice like 100, 200 slaves at a time, like do like these really brutal. Which I mean, like I still find if you're just looking at it from the perspective of learning about history, like that, just like the Aztecs, it is still interesting to learn about. For sure. I mean, history is nothing but horrible shit, right? All of history is horrible shit. Um, it just bothers me when people aren't honest about that. Is all.
Yeah, the casting decisions I would say would be the least, like, I would
Yeah,
accept
I don't understand that
revisionist
complaint.
arguments against that.
Well, but that movie specifically, The Woman King, like that, like there's no weird. Is there any weird casting in that movie? Because it didn't seem like there was any weird casting to me. The
No.
casting seemed
And
like it made sense. Like I didn't
somebody
really
would
see an issue with that.
there were a couple of reviews that went against, like, the casting choices for one of the main characters, but I think she was fine considering that was like her breakout role.
Sure. Yeah, no, you didn't tell me all of this was your fault. Var kept him ignorant. You have no idea what you're talking about. Just breaking this world stems from the source of our weaving. Oh, okay. Ah, okay. All right. We're finally learning about like what the fuck is even happening.
Yeah. So
What become a? Wait, what? For the Northman? Yeah. Well, the Northman is not. The
oh yeah,
Northman is not
the Northman is at
portraying a
least a lot.
positive
Yeah,
message
it's not
necessarily.
portraying the culture even in a positive light because it shows just how brutal the Viking lifestyle was. I would think more than most media because a lot of times they're able to kind of whitewash the whole they would
The
round up
Vikings like
children
were
and put them in a
rapists and
hut
shit.
and burn it down
Yeah, yeah.
and keep only the slave adults and kill the rest or rape and then kill them. Vikings were not good people, and I think they have been
No, no, they were
glamorized
not. Oh yeah, they've been glamorized as like
like
significantly in media. Yeah, and that bugs me. That totally bothers me.
and I think the Northmen for all of its I think it does a really good job at actually accurately portraying them, but also having this semi-surrealist kind of feel to it, where you're not quite sure what's reality and what's kind of in his head, or like, is that actually Valkyries, or is that just kind of his hallucinations?
Right. Well, I mean, it's the Northman's also kind of a fantasy story, too. It's meant to be basically an adaptation of the Viking myth that Hamlet was kind of a ripoff of. Um, but I mean, again, but I can't say anything about the Woman King because I haven't seen it. Too. I don't have an opinion on that one. I
That was
genuinely
one
just
I was
don't.
anticipating it, and I I did enjoy it just because while it does draw on some more common trends and tropes, it really does a good job of telling its story, and the actors all play a tremendous role. And at the same time, it shows why becoming a fighter might have been the only option for a girl of the time if they had the option.
Mm.
Because there were girls that were just as easily like enslaved as those given the choice to fight.
Sure.
Because like a lot of times, like with in this story, it's slaves who are women who are freed are allowed to like become fighters. The men stay slaves.
Mm.
And I think that is also keeping it pretty accurate because it's not forgoing and saying that like the ending of the movie is them renouncing slavery, which
Well, see
doesn't
that,
happen.
yeah, that bothers me because that did not happen.
So I would say that I did have a gripe with.
But also like I could also say that if the movie is good and then but it has flaws, I can also compliment the other parts of it that do work. Like I'm not gonna say, well, it got this one thing wrong, so let's throw the whole movie out. Like that also I think there is a
Oh yeah,
tendency of people to
on the
jump to
whole, I
that,
would say
and
the thing
I
is
don't think
like a
that's true
7 out
either.
of 10.
And
Like the
that's still
fight
a pretty
scenes are
solid score.
extremely well choreographed. The outfits are tremendously put together. Like it's just amazing how much work must have went into get these sets to give the aesthetic they were going for.
Oh shit. Okay. she was trying to turn Ivan into a god of some kind.
Uh, you mean, yeah, Ivan,
Yeah.
that's what they're implying. Uh, but let's see.
Needs to do more action. She's pretty good at it.
Oh yeah, the action
I'm
scenes
all
in
for
that
there
one were
just being.
tremendous.
I'm all for there just being more action because I feel like the action in movies generally is not that impressive very frequently. Like unless you're going to like Hong Kong, um, cinema, right? Like martial arts cinema. I just don't think there's a lot like outside of like John Wick. Can you think of another like well maybe the Woman King now, but like before that, can you think of like I liked Atomic Blonde's action, but like it's like how many action movies have you seen in recent years where you act like the action was really good? Like I just don't feel like it happens that much.
Um, for the Volca, like what he's saying is from his perspective.
Right,
He says that they were tampering with the power of gods, and what could that be meant for if not to make him a god? But
right,
they also consider her telepathy something that's taboo.
right.
So, like, they're inferring, like, because Ivan's always talked about how hard a time he had controlling his magic until
Right.
Juno helped him.
See, I thought after John Wick we would see more great action movies, but everything has just been trying to copy it hard. Yeah, I agree. Like, there's just been a lot of copycats, but not enough stuff that's done like its own. You know, I mean, like everything, everywhere, all at once was a. I thought that like that had some of the better action I've seen in a while. And that was like a kind of heartwarming family film, but yet still a better action.
My
movie
younger
than-
brother would say that he like saw that in the theater 2 times because he liked it enough.
I really did enjoy it. I do think it might have been a little overhyped from like how much everyone was like talking it up. So for me personally, I thought it was a little overhyped, but I still did enjoy it a lot. I didn't think it was bad at all when I say that. I still thought it was very good. I just don't know if I loved it like a, best movie of the year loved it, but I did really like it. I also, well, you know what? For a movie that was that I thought was very overrated, I finally watched X last week, and I didn't think it was bad, but I really did. I really think that movie was way overrated.
Oh, yeah.
People talked that up way more
Especially
than it deserved.
without Pearl
It
to
wasn't bad.
contextualize it, it definitely didn't deserve the overhype.
Well, and Pearl immediately looks more interesting to me. Like the setting, the color of it, the style, the filmmaking. It just seems like a more interesting movie right off the bat. And I didn't think X was bad. I just didn't. I just didn't think it was as, it just was not that. It was not mind blowingly good. I don't know. Bulwark's mind is not his own. I don't know. Bulwark seems like he would do this on his own. Low-key kind of looked like the director in the movie. I could see that. I could see that. Well, no, that actor, the cameraman guy. No, I could see that. Well, that guy also played in the Evil Dead remake from like 2013. That was also the actor that like opens the book and reads from it in that movie. He's. I actually he's very blonde. I feel like, but other than that, yeah, I could definitely see it. We know you murdered Ray's and her child. We who? Those of us forced below, we who are already paying for his crime. After I kill you, Ingvar, I'll rip their bodies apart. I'll pull this arrow. I thought Pearl. Yeah, I haven't seen Pearl yet, but I want to. I really mostly watched X just just because I wanted to see Pearl, and I figured I might as well have seen both of them just to have the full context. But Pearl is the one that looked infinitely more interesting to me. Reacts to everybody screaming, and the whole tower pulses with crackling and shaking. Yeah, I know that. Yeah, I know they're doing a third one, and I'm curious. Like, how much mileage is this really going to get as a franchise? Like, I'm curious to see. I will say, I will say in X, the guy that was like the producer, I thought that was a good slasher movie kill. The nail in the foot and then the in the eye through the door. I thought that was a genuinely really good slasher movie kill.
That is what I've heard about both of the movies, is that they have at least a couple really creative like kills, and Pearl more so.
Well, Pearl is also a different
girl.
You're right. Maybe we'll see a fourth one where she's doing gilf porn. Oh God. Oh, I hope not. I mean, I guess there are people that are into that, but if that's the next movie, I'm gonna stay away. You will do as I say. Shocked by Juno's control, but you waste no time in charging Bolvik. Slam your head into. Oh, all right, they're fighting.
So Juno's assuming control of Zephyr.
Okay. And we're just fighting we're fighting Bolvik. God damn it, Ulysses, no I do not.
So there's a trick to this fight.
Okay, tell me right now.
The help of my trick.
Alright. Yeah,
Zephyr gives you speed boost. That's what she's good for. Utilize her for that. I don't think you can control her directly. I'm not 100% sure. But if you can, just keep her in the back line and keep her special ability active. For Ivor, you're going to want to do Bolvik has his regeneration ability, so he's immortal. You can't take him down until you headbutt him into a bolt of lightning. The bolt of lightning will be marked on the map, I think, after a couple of turns. So what you're going to use is your superior mobility to keep him outpaced. So just stay over on your side of the map. For now.
Okay.
And then save your willpower, because you'll need it for your headbutting.
So that really was Bellower that we were talking to.
Yeah, he was having the dreams.
Interesting.
Of Bellower.
That's right. Let's see, is Mia Goth hot? She's definitely not conventionally like hot, I wouldn't say. She weirds me out. I'm not gonna lie. She's got a look to her that is unsettling. Is Mia Goth a goth? I don't think she's a goth. No.
She's not a Visigoth.
Yeah, I don't know. She's an interesting. She's memorable looking. She's kind of perfect for horror to be an actor in horror films. But at the same time, yeah, I don't know. Yeah, it's the eyebrows. Maybe if she had eyebrows, I'd feel differently. But so should I just kind of stay over closer to where I am, or should I? Because it seems like Bolvik is going for Zephyr there. Or no? Is it just turning?
I don't think you're able to control. So Zephyr is not at risk.
Okay. It just seemed like he was moving towards her, but. Oh. Okay. Shia LaBeouf. Alright. Actual cannibal Shia LaBeouf. So now that the lightnings are appeared to him, should I go closer to him now, or should I still hang back?
Yes.
That was two things.
Yeah, no, I mean, lure him towards lightning. Just keep him, pay attention to how far he can move in a given one, but your goal is to get him to walk through lightning or
Right.
headbutt him backward into lightning.
Right. Okay. All right.
So I guess just always keep enough distance that like he can't come to you in a given turn. You would have to go to him.
Okay. Lightning strike might free Bolivaric's mind.
And so now Zephyr's Wind is going to be.
Oh.
Now you basically have unlimited movement. Just do not walk into the lightning yourself.
Shit! I just did that. Well, I clicked on a different square and then he walked the opposite direction.
Oh, you just completely resisted that attack. That was cool.
Yeah, I interesting. Okay.
So, yeah, now you can headbutt him backwards into that.
Good artifact equipped. I must. Yeah. I must.
Go ahead and hit him now.
Oh, actually hit him now?
Well, breaking his armor is also good.
Oh, fair enough. Oh, I just took him out in one hit.
Yeah.
Okay. Alright. Does being online ever depress you? That's the only thing being online does to me.
The outcome of this one definitely was subject to change. If you would have failed that fight, it changes the entire outcome of this game.
Damn, okay. I grabs Beller's body and brings it. Grab Beller's body and bring it close. Drop him into the vast on our way north. You do as you're asked, just as Ivan loses control. All right.
In a flash, threads unwind. Our intentions gone. Our fates laid bare.
Oh shit.
Forced to change, pulled in new directions.
Good. That thing's blood is poison, isn't it?
Yep. It's fouling the water.
Yeah.
What can we expect from our efforts in this breaking world? Our answers.
But you have at least kept yourself from being locked into the worst ending. I mean,
Good.
not locked into it, but
It's the BP snake.
BP snake is a pretty good.
Shit. All right. Wow. Hell yeah. Well, there we go. But no, yeah, Afternoon Tune. I think being online is exclusively depressing. And I think that's a psychological thing built into all people. Honestly, I just don't think human beings. Well, you know, we just weren't. We were never meant to be as hyper connected as we are, and it is not good for people's minds. But oh wait, the animation is done by Powerhouse Animation. That's the studio that does. Isn't that the studio that did Castlevania? Isn't that the straight up the same studio?
I think that is.
Did you know that was them that did the animation in this game?
I
did not know that. That's fucking cool. Well, shit. Now that we know that, then they should really do like an actual animated series based on this. All right. Is there anything significant in the credits here, Tim?
No.
Okay.
I think
Other than
they
some
are.
nice music.
Yeah, the
Sweet.
soundtrack for this game is pretty solid.
Hell yeah. Well, all right. So we're all done with Banner Saga 2. So now that is not the end of the stream. However, I do have to close and restart it because we got to switch over to a different game. So if Ulysses, Afternoon Tune, if you want to stick around, we will be back in just a brief moment. Just give me 1-2 minutes at the most to refresh the page, and we will be right back with a timed exclusive demo.